You know when you're crying, you don't know why you're crying. You are angry, you're crying, but you can't stop crying. Finally, I'm doing this. All right. So, hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Muyolua. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you everything about my pregnancy. I'm so excited about this video for some reason. But yeah, I'm going to be sharing everything about, pregnancy, what it has taught me, the symptoms, struggles I had, how I lost my brain for some weeks, right? And I'll be sharing everything as a new mom, as a Gen Z. You know, Gen Zs don't like stress, right? So as a Gen Z, as a new mom, everything about pregnancy that I experienced is what I'm going to be sharing. And in case you're wondering why I'm just sharing this video, so shortly after I gave birth, I was trying to struggle between carrying my baby, holding my phone, and one wanted to fall. So I grabbed the baby and the phone went for it. So I lost some pictures, memories, and stuff. But some that I have backed up, I think I found some of them. So I'm going to be inserting it when necessary in this video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I would say is, if you're preparing to be a mom, or you're currently pregnant, or you fall in any of this category, I think the first thing is to understand that pregnancy is a new phase entirely. It's an entirely new phase. Like, it's a new journey, it's a new phase, and your body will experience it, your soul will experience it, your spirit, every part of you will experience the newness of the entire phase. And I'm saying this because one of the things I struggled with was self-acceptance. I realized I got pregnant in November 2023, right? And for some reason, I didn't first accept I was pregnant, maybe because I wasn't ready at the moment. I shared how I, got pregnant despite having PCOS, in a previous video. If you haven't seen this, go and watch it now. Yeah. After that, I eventually accepted, okay, I was pregnant after testing and all those things. And, my body started adjusting and growing. But I did not realize that it was a different and new journey entirely, because I tried to keep doing things that I could do and all those things, but it wasn't really working out. Now, the worst of it all was I was still creating my content in January. But there was a particular video I did where, when I was watching it, I saw my nose and I broke down in tears. I won't even lie. I was really, really feeling bad. And then I looked myself in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell? What's this? Why is your nose like this? I kept talking at myself, and guys, that was it. So I failed to admit that, this whole phase was going to take charge of my body, of my hormones, of, everything about me. And it affected me a lot because I started creating content. I didn't want to go out. I would just prefer being indoor. Thank God I work remotely. So I just wanted to be indoor, just be alone. At the moment, I didn't even have a job, right? That was in January. So I was just always there. You can imagine what it was like. I was affecting myself and my self-esteem, right? Just because I was pregnant, which is normal. So I think it's very important for you to know that it's a very new phase. And let me put a disclaimer here, guys. Every pregnancy is different, honestly. So please don't take everything I say as what you would experience. Yours may be better than mine. Yours may be worse than mine. It's not a curse. But like, everything is different, you get. So I had very, very bad, symptoms as well. But overall, honestly, I would say my journey was very beautiful. That's the first thing I would like to say. Another thing that helped me with that was my husband. It's very important that you have a right circle, a very right support. I'm going to show you this group that I created when I was pregnant. When I realized I was pregnant and I told my friends, the next thing I did was to create a support group of my friends, right? Because I knew that I had not done this before. I didn't know what to expect. Even though they also had not done it before, I knew that I would need some support, right? So I created this group and I was always sharing how I was feeling with them at intervals, as well as pictures, right? So I remember with the big nose-ish, I just told my husband one day, I think there was a day he was admiring me or just saying something beautiful about the pregnancy and how he was shaping me. And I was like, what is this? Why are you lying? See how I look, all those things. And then he just came and cheered me on and started telling me. So it was him that made me realize that this is an entirely new phase, right? So he spoke to my heart that day and made me understand that, my body will change. Is it just my nose? Any other thing can as well change in my body, but we'll get through this together. And that helped me. So that was the beginning of that breakthrough in that aspect. I'm going to talk about the third point later on in this video. So let's get into my first trimester symptoms and experience. I don't understand how this thing works with pregnancy, because I've seen a couple of people say the same thing. When I found out I was pregnant, I was already 8 weeks pregnant. And for some reason, I was not experiencing anything different as such until I found out. And immediately after I found out, it all started. It all started. So I was, as energetic as I am, I started getting so tired. right? So I work from home, and then my husband was working hybrid. He would go once in a week on Thursdays, right? And trust me, when he's leaving in the morning, wherever I was staying when he was leaving was the same spot he would meet me. I may go for toilet breaks, and all those things, and come back to that spot. I was always very tired, very busy. Now, around where I was, my laptop would be there. Everything I would need would just pretty much be there. It was close to the socket. He would bring my food in the morning, all that I would eat throughout the day. And I was just very tired, right? However, I think after like few weeks and all of those went by because I started cooking. I cooked until I gave birth, I started doing my things normally. But that first trimester, I was just always getting tired. And then I would always sleep. I was sleeping a lot, a whole lot. And then another funny thing that happened to me, there was a particular morning. I just woke up that morning. I stood up from the bed, to sit on the chair. And for some reason in fact, for no reason, I started crying. I mean, looking back at it now, it's funny, honestly. So I was just crying, and my husband was scared. Oh, what happened? Questions upon questions, but I could not place it. I didn't know why I was crying. I was just crying. Like I'm not saying little tears. I'm saying profuse tears. I was really crying. And then, he got scared. He started calling one of my big sis, that had given birth. Like, what happened? Oh, she was like, come on, it's nothing. Don't worry, she'll be fine. Just stay with her, pat her, and all those things. It's just emotional drama in pregnancy. And, because the phone was on speaker, I was hearing. And, when you're crying, you don't know why you're crying. You are angry, you're crying, but you can't stop crying. Anyways, that was what I experienced. It was really funny. And then I've heard people say, oh, they vomit, during pregnancy, or they spit. No, I didn't vomit, frequently. The first time I vomited, and I think that was the only time during first trimester, was when I ate pineapples. So newsflash, in case you don't know before, please know now. Pineapples are not good for pregnancies, like unless you're trying to induce labor, because what it does is it induces labor, like it makes the baby want to come out. So in first trimester, it can actually lead to a miscarriage. I didn't know, so I used it, and then the thing turned my entire system over. So I started vomiting. I vomited. I'm sure I vomited everything plus every other thing I'd eaten. I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. So apart from that, I think I only vomited one other time in second trimester, and was because I think the yam I ate was not well cooked or something. So yeah. But one funny symptom I also had in first trimester was my nose was very sensitive, and then my mouth. I think my taste was being metallic or something, because I could not even drink the water we normally drink at home. I was taking only bottled water, pure water only, right? So I was not able to take our water. And then smell. I've seen other people that don't like to perceive, perfumes and, good fragrances. For me, the reverse was the case. I was always walking about with perfumes. Why? Because every other thing was smelling to me like rubbish, honestly. So if I was walking on this, like if you found me in first trimester, I was with perfume in my bag. I'm not even lying, right? So I would just be spraying everywhere. If I sit here for too long, it could be smelling badly, and then I start spraying everywhere. So my husband and I were just taking an evening stroll, and then there was this dustbin around. The smell of the dustbin just suddenly came to me, and I almost vomited. Like, it made me feel so bad. And normally I would just, try to maneuver to get to where I was going, but this one was not bearable. I brought out the perfume and I actually sprayed my nose area. So what I now would do later was to put perfumes in my handkerchief. So I just put it in my nose all the time. It was funny, but yeah, survival technology. Yeah. Now, the final experience I had in first trimester, I've heard of a lot of drama with pregnancy symptoms, but you see this one, it shocked me. I've never heard of it before at all. My brain shuts down. Like, I could not think, I could not process anything. Like, my brain wasn't working, right? It is more crazy that I am saying it. Now, it's more crazy because before that time, I'd not heard anything about it. However, when I started experiencing it, I was thinking it's just me being tired, what's going on and all that. Then there was a day I stumbled on a video interview where Chimamanda Adichie was talking about how she was supposed to have written a book, but because she was pregnant and her brain wasn't working well, she could not write the book. Now, that struck something in me. If I find the video, I'll add it here, right? And when she said that thing, it was like a breakthrough for me, honestly, because I felt seen, like, okay, there's somebody that has experienced same thing before. Like, I could not process things. I'm talking about losing my job here. This cost me my job because I could not send out emails. I could not process the messages that was being sent. I was just not able to do anything, like anything. At some point, I would take out a jotter to write the to-do of things I would do during the day. But it's as bad as I would forget where I put the jotter, or like I'm not able to process what I'm reading. I keep reading, but my brain is not processing it, right? This was crazy for me. And I think it was that Chimamanda's video that really helped me. And then I think later I also saw where a doctor spoke about it, like, oh, it happens sometimes in pregnancy. But this was when I was almost done with that phase. So this happened for like 2 to 3 weeks, right? So it was like it was between that November and December. But after that, that was it. So yeah, my brain is working now. As you can see, that was it about first trimester. It seemed like a lot, but it happened so fast, like all together. I've heard a lot of times where they say second trimester is the boom boom phase where you get energy and all of those things. And for me, it was very true because as soon as I started approaching 14 weeks, 15 weeks, I started gaining my energy back, right? I became strengthened, and all that. In fact, that period, I started applying for jobs because I lost my job in December. And yes, I got a job, right? So I was excited, I was busy, I was engaged, and my brain was back, honestly. So yeah, second trimester was that. But second trimester came with its own because I don't know if it's like pregnancy related, but I experienced infections, like vaginal infection. I think the first time I realized, it was from my church, I used the church toilet. And pregnant women will be a lot. I can't hold it till I get back home, but I mean, I'm not talking easy infection. I've never felt any infection like that before. So I experienced it bad. There was a particular scenario I remember. It was around 12 a.m., right? I had to call my matron and, tell her that, this was because I was really in serious pains. And the kind of pain I'm talking about, I was in the bathroom telling God, like, God, please let this just be the labor pain because I don't want to experience any more pain that is more than this, honestly. Well, you find out if I did when I talk about the delivery video. Once you get pregnant, there are limitations to drugs you can use. Unlike right now, if something happens, I can use any drug. Drugs can be prescribed and stuff, but with pregnancy, there are some things that they'll tell you outrightly, like just use paracetamol. Like that's just the best or the least you can use, nothing more, right? Because of the period you're in. So this affected me a lot with that infection because they could not give me very strong antibiotics because of the baby. And then, of course, second trimester is where you shop baby things. So yeah, I did a lot of shopping. So for some reason, I just didn't believe that I was going to be having a girl. I don't know why, honestly, but it took a while, before I admitted that. In fact, when I was shopping my baby things, I was getting unisex because I was expecting a miracle, a drama, a gender change for some reason, very weird, petty reasons. But yeah, here we are, and I'm so glad I have a girl. So glad. So, if we're going to talk about third trimester, I would say third trimester is a lot in terms of psychological stress, anxiety that came with it because as the day kept approaching, I started getting scared and, that fear was creeping in, what to expect, what the day would look like, how is my experience going to be, the pain, how everything I've heard and known about the labor room would come to play in my case. So I wasn't sure what to expect or how it was going to go. And if there was anything I did very well in pregnancy was research, right? I was very knowledgeable about what I was experiencing, about what I was going to experience. I had all of this theoretical knowledge. I Googled, I YouTubed a lot. But of course, practical is different from theory. Now, another thing that was very, rampant in third trimester was back pain. So my stomach was really huge. And then the pressure on my neck was a lot, on my back rather, was a lot. So I started to experience difficulty with sleeping positions. I had all of the pillows and, pregnancy pillows, but it wasn't like it was sufficient compared to the pain I was experiencing. So that was also there. So apart from that, and just the general fatigue that comes with, carrying so much load, I was very strengthened, agile, and pretty much cool all through third trimester. So as the delivery date was approaching, these are few things that I did that really helped. I've talked about community earlier, right? So the first thing I'm going to say is professing the word of God. This really helped me a lot because I would wake up in the morning and always, like I've been doing that right from time anyways, always talk to my baby, always talk to my body, always confess positive things, always confess scriptures. right? I would always confess what I wanted, the type of delivery I wanted. My husband and I will always pray, we'll always tell God what exactly we wanted. We didn't want sudden emergencies. In fact, we said it up to the point that we didn't want midnight emergencies, and it happened, right? So that really helps. Prayers, praises, just talking to God generally about it and telling your baby, because of course they have ears, right? So I told my baby, don't come in the midnight. We are not mobile yet, so don't come in the midnight when we'll be stranded, and all of those things we kept on saying, no matter how petty it sounded. We're always, confessing that. Another thing I would say, I've mentioned it earlier, is having a very supportive partner, and of course community, because in fact my friends are the best. My community, my siblings, my parents, all of them, all my sister-in-laws, pretty much people that surrounded me, even my big ones, big sisters in the Lord and across the world, everybody were really, really nurturing and caring for me, right? Because this period was a lot. So I was receiving calls, encouragement, prayers, and all this love really helped me to feel relaxed and know that, I was not alone on the journey. I've mentioned how that I Googled and I studied a lot about pregnancy. It really helped as well, having sufficient knowledge, so that when something is going on in your body, you would exactly know, if not experienced it before, but you know what it's like because you have read about it before. And this really came to play when I started feeling labor pains, like a few days before I actually went into labor. I was feeling some very crazy pains, and my husband was already, oh, let's go. But because I had read and already had an idea, I just told him, this is not labor. Though I haven't experienced it before, but this was not what was explained to me in antenatal. And yes, please don't miss antenatals. I didn't miss any at all. I didn't miss any antenatal. And apart from antenatal, I had like a standby matron that I called whenever there was a need, right? So I would always call to say, oh, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's happening, and would always get that guidance. Before this video ends, I want to say something very important, because in my case, like I said earlier, my baby came out very big. Now, apart from the genetic factor that contributed to that, because I was big at birth as well, as my husband was also big at birth. But apart from that, I was eating a lot. So pregnancy appetite was heightened for me, right? So I was eating a lot, especially my first trimester. I ate a lot, and because of the kind of work I do, I ate junks, like a whole lot. I attended events, so I kept eating. I didn't know it was going to contribute to the weight of the baby, so, and because I was always hungry, I ate. I know better now that it's safe to always control those cravings and appetite, right? So that you don't have episotomy like I did, right? Let me know if you'd like me to talk about my labor experience and delivery. Let me know. If you do not request for it, I'm not going to make it, but let me know if you would like to see that. I can share what my experience was like. Very, very beautiful one. I guess that's about it. But in conclusion, first off, I would say pregnancy is a very spiritual journey. Very, very spiritual, because apart from dreams you'd be having, thoughts that will be coming to your mind, things you'd be seeing around you, online, everywhere, it's very spiritual. And then you need to be very prayerful and trust God all through the way, very spiritual, because you are not seeing what's going on inside. Another thing pregnancy taught me was that women are so strong. Trust me, women are so strong. I literally, up until the point that I gave birth, I was always thinking, how would a human come out of me? It just didn't make sense to me. And then the strength to carry, because the last weight I measured before I gave birth was 97 kg. How I moved from 60 something to 90 something was really crazy, because I was carrying a whole human, right? The strength, everything. Women, no. And then one other thing I would say comes with being pregnant or experiencing this whole motherhood thing for me was that I felt grown. I don't know if that makes sense. Growth on all sides. You would feel responsible. I think that's the word. You feel more responsible, mature, and you have someone to cater to. You are bringing in another generation. It makes you feel really accountable to yourself and to your generation, to the world at large, honestly, because everything you do, every time you're thinking how not to make an error on this part. So guys, I believe I've covered everything, but if there's anything I missed, please read the description, because I'm going to include it there. And if at this point you have watched to this point and you have not liked this video, what are you waiting for? So please go ahead to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I realize a lot of non-subscribers are watching my video. Please subscribe. Just tap on it and subscribe, okay? And then please share with everybody that you know would find this video valuable, right? And I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it was worth your time. Mwah. Bye.